What's going on? It's Justeeni here. Today, I'm going to be looking at the Cymanti rework and then kind of sharing my thoughts on it. I'm going to be pretty brief with actually going over the Cymanti rework. There's a bunch of channels that have already gone over that. I think the Poly Champions channel did an especially good job really covering everything very thoroughly. So I'll put their video in the description. You can go ahead and watch that, then return back to this video, really do whatever. But I'm just gonna do my thing. I'm not gonna go too much in detail with this because I've got some other more important things to address in this video. So I'll kind of quickly skim over this. So yeah, the reworking Cymanti, it's pretty similar to what we saw last time with a few key changes. The water is mostly the same. So they got the boom chi, algae's work as an improvement. It's got like the weird fruit thing. Living islands are more or less the same. They're retextured. They look pretty cool. But yeah, we've got the Reichi. Reichi are changed a bit. They cost 5 stars, but have 10 attack, or sorry, 10 health. And yeah, same stats otherwise. And then yeah, Living Island, it's all the same. Clathrus, yeah, it's changed. So it works with fungi instead of algae. So again, kind of like the previous beta of Cymanti. And what's different here is a lot of stuff changed on land. So the fungi nerf is a lot different. Instead of starting at level 0, it's now limited to 2 levels, but the recycling tech adds the 3rd level. So they start as basically a worse farm, but then when you get the recycling tech, then they're back to normal. So you need the recycling tech effectively to get a bunch of centipedes. It's kind of like Zabasi getting construction, I guess. If you kind of think about it that way, this slows down Cymanti a ton because they can't get a level 3 capital naturally unless they get a lighthouse. So that's going to be very interesting. And even the level 3 capital is actually still pretty slow. I think it's a turn slower if I'm not mistaken. And then creep is now nerfed a little bit, so now mountains can block units with creep, which I guess adds a little layer of strategy. Can't complain about that. Poison debuff is changed. It's also kind of the same deal. I think a lot of it is just toning down existing features, but then adding a bunch of new features. Because you can see poison, it's more strong, but it doesn't remove the defense bonus. So like if you poison a unit with a defense bonus, it's actually I think about the same as like what poison currently is, which is about like 30%-ish. And if you poison a wall, it's actually less effective than current poison, which is pretty interesting. Then the Doomlux change. So it can explode after attack, but it's now only 3.5 attack, which I think that is an overall buff. It's kind of hard to say because there's just so many things changing in context. Swordsman's changed to Mantis. Basically the same thing. Not much changes here. And then the cloak has changed a lot. You guys can read this or watch the Poly Champions video. I don't even know where to start with this. I guess it's kind of a lower floor, higher ceiling sort of thing, so it's a lot more volatile than cloaks, which I don't know really what to think about it. Cloaks were a pretty important part of Cymanti before, so I'm not sure how this shakes things up, if it does at all. Who even knows? I mean, it definitely changes something, surely. The moth is a flying unit, so I guess you can more easily attack by sea. Who knows? Boost is also changed to Swarm, which is basically much weaker for combat, like much weaker for combat, but it's better for exploration. So that's pretty interesting. So it doesn't give the damage bonus anymore, which weakens a lot of things, like boosted hexapods are much weaker. Boosted centipedes are still pretty strong because that difference from 4 attack to 4.5 doesn't matter. Boosted warriors are weaker. Boosted Ketons, I mean, not much changes there. Boosted Fight Chi, boosted Reichi, boosted Exida, boosted Dumux. Pretty much across the board, most things are going to be weaker with boost, which really affects Hexapods and Fight Chi especially because those are super reliant on boost. And if you guys remember before when they decided to change Hexapod attack to 2.5, so the boosted Hexapod's attack was 3, that changed a lot of things, especially against archers. It made Cymanti just straight up terrible into archers, which, because Cymanti also struggles to get centipedes, I'm not sure if they can deal with archers. I will say I have not had time to test this, and also apparently there's a bug in the beta where everyone starts with a 1-star per turn on their capital, which completely messes up everything, so you can't really accurately test this. So I'm not really sure what to think about most of this. There's also, like, some changes to, like, fill loads, I guess make it more flavorful. The Cymanti is not a very peaceful tribe, so they're going with, converting and stuff like that. And then the last thing at the bottom here, I'm also not too sure what to think about. So the, like, the baby dragon growing to fire dragon, so basically any grow thing that which this only affects baby dragon and centipede, any damage on the segment or the baby dragon will affect it when it grows into a centipede or fire dragon, and I kind of have some mixed feelings about this because I really liked the interactions with baby dragon growing to fire dragon, where you kind of are incentivized to get as much value out of that heal as possible. It's kind of like using veterancy in a way, where you want to intentionally kind of sacrifice the health on your unit to just get as much out of it as you can, and then it heals straight back to full health. This is no longer the case. And a similar deal with centipedes, where like if a segment is really injured, then the centipede can heal back to full health. Though that one you almost never actually see. Like I guess I don't really know how this is going to change centipedes because you're usually not damaging the segments, you're killing the segments. So it really just feels like a nerf to baby dragons, and otherwise not much changes. All in all, I actually I'm not sure about this change. I'd have to play around with it. It definitely will noticeably affect baby dragons. Maybe like some counterplay options open for centipedes. I'm not really too sure. And then if you want to play test it, you can just screenshot this or whatever. Look at all this stuff. And yeah, now what I actually want to talk about, has Midjiwan gone too far? Oh my goodness, I referenced the title of the video. Crazy stuff. But what do I mean? Well, basically what I mean is look at all this stuff with Cymanti. This is just like new stuff with Cymanti. But I really want to look at special tribes and how special they are. So, because like each special tribe, like they have like unique text and they also have unique features. And I'll kind of just show you what I mean and try to get my point across as best I can. So I made a little slideshow. So you can see here, I've got all the special tribes listed. We'll start with Aquarian. Just gonna kind of run down everything they have. You can see it all here. So Aquarian, they have 11 unique features, and the way that I'm kind of like divvying things up is like you can kind of see these are like kind of universal things, and then these are more tech or unit specific. I'm not putting like the amphibians and the like mermaid warriors and the mermaid archers and all that because that kind of falls under amphibious already. So I feel like amphibious kind of covers that. It's literally just you take a unit at amphibious. But with stuff like puffers, for example, it's adding a lot more. And same with all of these. So all in all, you add this all together, you get 11 unique features. Just kind of keep that number in mind. Now let's look at Illyrian. Illyrian has a lot less going for them. I'd say they do arguably need more. But surprisingly, with only 5 unique features, they still feel quite special, I'd say. So keep this one in mind as well. And then Polaris. I was tempted to put freezing and ice as kind of one, but they do feel distinctly different enough that they're 2 unique features. And then with the unique text and units. If I missed anything, I really tried to like triple check. Just let me know in the comments. You know, I'm not like too worried about this being 100% accurate. As long as the numbers are in the right ballpark, this is going to prove my point well enough. So again, Aquarian's got 11 unique features. Illyrian's got 5. Polaris has 9. Now let's look at Cymanti. This is Cymanti in the beta. What the heck? And here's a reference of Cymanti right now, which this is its own discussion as well, and I will be talking about that as well. So they have 5 unique features. And these aren't just like, oh, like little features. Like with Illyrian, like seeing through fog, that's a pretty small feature, all things considered. And I'd say with Aquarion, some of their features are pretty insignificant a lot of the time as well. But like these are pretty relevant features, pretty much always. Like all these significantly change Cymanti plays, and they're 5 completely new things that just completely change the tribe. And then you can see the font size is smaller for this because I physically couldn't fit everything here in this one list. But yeah, there's a lot of different unique things. It's absolutely ridiculous. And I've got a bit of an asterisk here because I think ketons, you could argue, technically aren't that unique because it's just kind of using these universal features of poison and creep. So I wasn't sure like if this really changes the identity of the unit enough. Like obviously like Exita significantly changes the unit because it has splash and a reduced attack and extra movement and creep and poison. It's changing a lot. This literally just adds poison and creep. Notice that the mantis isn't there because all it is just adding creep. I'm trying to be as realistic with this as possible. I'm not trying to exaggerate this for the sake of exaggerating it. Like I'm trying to just put things as they are. But yeah, if you want to exclude kitons, cool. Now it's 19 total, or 16 for the current. But this is kind of my problem, and I think this is why a lot of people don't like Cymanti. Some people like don't like them because they feel like they're kind of limited in how you can play against them. But a lot of people also don't like Cymanti because of how overwhelming they can feel to learn to play or play against. Like me personally, I still don't know how to play Cymanti. I know how to play against them, but I don't know how to actually play them because like just they have so much going on. It's kind of ridiculous. And kind of what I'm saying here is maybe we're going in the wrong direction with this beta. Instead of adding more features, maybe we should trim down on the features. I think that this might sound a little crazy. Polaris is actually as perfect as it gets when it comes to special tribes, which sounds completely insane. I know I bash on Polaris all the time for being stupidly unbalanced, but the reason why they're unbalanced is just one fatal flaw. It's the fact that they start with basically sailing and fishing combined into one tech, which is completely unfair. If they didn't have that, they would probably be like shockingly fair. Because like they have some unique features. They have a few unique units. Some of them arguably don't contribute that much, like ice archers. But you know, you've got some things, a little extra stuff, and some of the tribes like both Aquarian and Illyrian, they have like some extra features. You don't even like need all of these features. You could trim down on features with Aquarian. You could just get rid of lost cities completely as a mechanic, and I don't think anyone would miss them. Same with sharks. Even sharks like barely have a role. I know they're supposed to be a pseudo rammer, but this is Aquarian. They have like all the water units in the world. You could take out two features. They still have 9 unique features, and they'll still feel like a very special tribe. Illyrian, you could get rid of sea runes through fog because who even cares about that, and replace it with something else, and they'd still feel like a very special tribe. Cymanti, do they really need 20? Or in the current version, do they need 17? Like, you could really cut down on things. Like, for example, how I think it should be done, you could get rid of every unique thing in the naval branch. Why the naval branch? Because if you think about Cymanti, they're supposed to be the bug tribe. And you kind of look at these unique features. How much of these really scream like bug? Like alternate starting unit, that's kind of there for its own like lore flavor, so maybe you can argue that one stays, but there's also an argument to remove that. But yeah, I mean a lot of these are kind of related. Like creep is definitely related, poison and explode. But then just algae's here. Why is it here? Why does Cymanti have its own unique navy in addition to having like half of the techs that it has completely reworked? Like I don't know, it just doesn't make sense to me. And here's the thing, you could completely remove algae, completely remove Reichi, Living Island, and Boomchi. Just completely carve that out, replace it with the normal navy, and you still have 16 or 15 unique. That is still more than the other special tribes by a good margin. You could even completely remove poison in addition to that. Now ketons are definitely not unique. You could remove like fungi, just get rid of that entirely. Like, yeah. Why does Cymanti have their unique economy? Because like you remove fungi, that gets rid of fungi, recycling, and clathers all in one. You do that plus removing everything with algae. That's 7 things you've removed, and they're still the tribe with the most unique features. This is kind of what I'm saying. Cymanti has so much going for them. You could outright remove a ton of stuff, and they would still be the most special tribe, which I think says a lot about how overloaded they are with features. So I'm hoping that I'm kind of getting my point across here, because I don't really know any other way to put it, but I think there's way too much going on with this tribe, and the beta doesn't really make it any better. I've been kind of like thinking about this since the first beta was released, but I kind of put off from saying anything about it because I was really happy with everything else in the beta. So, I didn't want to kind of rain on the parade and all that, but I feel like this is a really good time to mention it. So, Midjiwan, if you're watching this, or anyone else that works on Polytopia, uh, you probably watch my videos, right? I mean, there's no way you just do the starting star change like that. Like, I'm watching you, Midjiwan. But please consider this. I know you do listen to the community, because I can tell this, like, trying to fix Cymanti, it's not trying to fix Cymanti for the sake of it. Like, there's intention, there's effort here, and I know that Midjiwan really does care about this game with the updates that he puts out. I just feel this one is misguided. Like, no hate to Midjiwan at all with this. I think he's an amazing developer, and I love the things that he does. I just really wants to voice my concern about this because I do worry that this might inadvertently make the tribe less enjoyable. But yeah, I don't know if anyone agrees on me with any of this. I could be the only person that thinks this, and I'm stupid and wrong, but I'm going to say what's on my mind anyway. Um, and yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Like and sub, and have a good one.